Hello, word listeners. Welcome back to the podcast. I'm your host, Alex, and I'm thrilled to have you join me for another exciting episode where we unravel the mysteries and nuances of the English language. Today, we're diving into a word that's fundamental to communication and understanding: dialogue. So, what exactly is dialogue? Simply put, it's a conversation between two or more people. It's that back and forth exchange of words, ideas, and opinions that helps us connect, learn, and resolve issues. You hear dialogue all the time, from chats with your friends to discussions in class or debates on television. It's an essential part of everyday life. Think of it as the verbal dance we engage in to share our thoughts and listen to others. Now, let's explore some words that are similar to dialogue. These are called synonyms. One synonym for dialogue is conversation. For example, instead of saying they had a long dialogue about their vacation plans, you could say they had a long conversation about their vacation plans. See how they both work? Another useful synonym is discussion. Imagine you are in a group planning a project. You might say, "We had a productive discussion about the project's goals." Exchange is another great synonym. You can say, "The diplomats had an exchange of ideas to try and resolve the conflict." Furthermore, communication is also a synonym in some contexts. For example, effective communication is key to any successful relationship, which implies ongoing dialogue. And lastly, consider the word chat. "I had a nice chat with my neighbor this morning" is a more casual way to describe a friendly dialogue. Now that we've broadened our understanding with synonyms, let's look at some words that are the opposite of dialogue. These are called antonyms. One antonym for dialogue is monologue. A monologue is when one person speaks for a long time without anyone else responding. For example, the actor delivered a powerful monologue on stage, meaning it was a speech by one person. Another antonym is silence. Silence means no speaking at all. For example, the room was filled with silence after the announcement. A third antonym could be soliloquy, which is similar to a monologue but often used in plays to express a character's inner thoughts. Think of Hamlet's famous soliloquy, "To be or not to be." Another opposing term is lecture, where one person typically imparts information to an audience. Consider, the professor gave a fascinating lecture on astrophysics. And lastly, speech can sometimes be considered an antonym, particularly if it's a formal address where interaction is limited. For instance, the president delivered an important speech to the nation. Now, let's talk about how you can use dialogue in everyday life. Imagine you're trying to solve a problem with a friend. You might say, "Let's have a dialogue about this so we can understand each other better." Or, if you're trying to improve your relationship with someone, you could say, "We need to open up a dialogue to address our concerns." In a professional setting, you might hear someone say, "The team needs to engage in a dialogue to brainstorm new ideas." Another example, "The success of the negotiation depends on open and honest dialogue between the parties." Even in simple situations like planning a night out, you can use dialogue. "Let's start a dialogue about where we want to go for dinner tonight." Here are some example sentences and phrases using dialogue. The play was mostly composed of witty dialogue between the characters. The peace talks broke down due to a lack of dialogue. The film is known for its realistic and engaging dialogue. She initiated a dialogue with her boss to discuss her career goals. The importance of dialogue in resolving conflicts cannot be overstated. The book features insightful dialogue that reveals the characters' inner lives. Good dialogue is essential for effective communication. They established a dialogue to address their differences. The artist's work inspires dialogue about social issues. The teacher encouraged dialogue among the students. The leaders engaged in a constructive dialogue to find common ground. We need more dialogue, not less, to bridge the divide. The conference provided a platform for dialogue on global challenges. The novel is filled with thought-provoking dialogue. The film's success lies in its sharp and realistic dialogue. The workshop focused on improving dialogue skills. Let's open a dialogue about ways to improve our teamwork. Their constant bickering prevented any meaningful dialogue. The negotiation team worked hard to maintain a dialogue. The therapist facilitated a dialogue between the family members. In conclusion, dialogue is a fundamental aspect of communication. It represents the exchange of ideas, opinions, and thoughts between individuals, which is crucial for understanding and resolving issues. We explored synonyms like conversation, discussion, and exchange, and contrasted it with antonyms such as monologue, silence, and lecture. Remember, effective dialogue is key to building strong relationships and achieving mutual understanding. Thank you for tuning into Hello, Word. I hope you found this episode helpful and insightful. If you enjoyed this episode, please subscribe to the podcast and leave a review. Your support helps others discover the show and learn along with us. Now for your challenge. Create your own sentence using the word dialogue and share it as a comment under the video. I can't wait to see what you come up with. Until next time, keep the dialogue going.